Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Macroeconomics at Ozarka College. Today what I'd like to do is kind of give you a little introduction to this course, kind of hit the high points of the syllabus with you, and kind of tell you the best way to contact me if you have questions during this semester. So let's kind of get started here. Right now I'm displaying the course syllabus, which you access by just clicking the syllabus link over here on the navigation pane on the left-hand side of the page in my Ozarka. You'll notice at the very top there, it has information about this course, but it also has information about me as far as my name and contact information and so forth. And some of you already know me from taking other classes with me, but some of you don't. So for those of you that don't, my name again is Stephen Baltz. My office is here on the Mountain View campus, and I teach mostly online courses. Every once in a while I'll teach a course on the Mountain View campus, but mostly I teach online. This is my 28th year teaching at Ozarka, and I've really enjoyed teaching here, and I'm really looking forward to teaching you some important things this semester. And I'm hoping you're looking forward to it as well. As we go through the semester, I'll share a little bit more information about myself, especially on the Introduce Yourself discussion. But for right now, just kind of know that, like I said, my office is in Mountain View. I'm from Mountain View. And I have taught this particular macroeconomics course just about every year of the 27 years I've been here at Ozarka. So I'm very familiar with the course and very familiar with the outcomes and so forth. And I really enjoy teaching this course. I think it's really beneficial for students to understand how economics works, and especially the macroeconomic environment that we hear about so much on the news. You know, topics like inflation and interest rates and things like that, government spending, budgets. Those are all things that we'll learn about this semester. All right. Now, the best way to contact me, I know on the top of the syllabus there, it shows several different ways a couple different ways you can contact me, but probably the best way is to use the course mail link over here on the left-hand side. And the reason I say that is because when you send me a message through course mail, it'll have your name as a student in the class. It will have the name of the course there, so I'll be able to get back to your message, respond to you much more effectively and efficiently than if you, for example, send me a message through my general Ozarka email. When you send me a message that way, all I'm gonna see is the whatever personal email address that you used to set up your My Ozarka account, and in most cases it's not gonna have your actual name on it, and so I'm gonna have to try to figure out who it is that's sending me this message and what course it pertains to. Whereas if you send me a message through course mail, it displays all that. So like I said, I'm a lot more able to get back on to your message, respond to you in a much more timely way. All right. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. The next three items on the course syllabus are very closely tied together. So I'm going to kind of talk about them all at one time to save some time. So these are course description, rationale, and outcomes. All right. Basically, in this class, we're going to first learn about economics, what economics is, and the whole reason that we have a subject matter called economics. And basically, that reason is that there are issues when we look at, what our wants are as individual decision makers and what our resources are that we have to actually satisfy those wants. For example, we all want, bigger house and more land and, more goods and services of all kinds, right? But we only have a certain limited amount of resources to satisfy those unlimited wants. And that creates what we call the economic problem. That is the focus of economics. Economics is basically the study of how we make decisions on how best to use our limited resources to satisfy as many of our unlimited resources or unlimited wants as possible. Because we can't have everything we want, we have to make decisions on how best to use our resources. And so that's what economics is. It's the study of that. Now, if we look specifically at macroeconomics, which is what we're going to be looking at in this course, we're looking at the overall economy. How overall everyone in the economy makes those decisions. Not an individual, not an individual business or individual household. We're basically looking at decisions that kind of encompass the entire economy, called the aggregate economy. So we're looking at, for example, in macroeconomics, we're going to look at things like aggregate supply and demand and how that comes together to determine price levels in the economy. We'll also look at ways that we can measure economic activity through things like inflation and unemployment and things like that. We'll also look at business cycles, the ups and downs of the economy. We'll look at the money and the banking system, which basically provides the kind of a efficient way of exchanging resources and goods and services in the economy. We'll look at things that the government does to kind of manage the economy, to make sure that those ups and downs are not too high or too low. So we'll look at things like fiscal and monetary policy. Fiscal policy is basically the spending and taxation that the government uses. And then monetary policy is basically regulation of the money supply that affects things like interest rates and so forth. All right? So we'll also look towards the end of the semester at what are the important implications of economic growth and international trade. All right? So that's basically what we're going to be looking at in this course. So just let me know if you have questions about that. And obviously, as far as the rationale, it's important to understand the economic environment that you're living in, obviously, so that you can make better decisions as far as, what to major in college, what job that you want to get after college, and, what your goals are and so forth as far as economically. It's going to be a lot easier for you to make good decisions if you better understand what's going on in the economy that affects those decisions. Okay? All right. So, like I said, just let me know if you have questions about that. All right. The next item on the syllabus is the textbook required materials. This is what the textbook looks like. It's called Macroecon 7. The seven there is just represents the 7th edition. All right. It shows the ISBN number there on the syllabus. Make sure that when you go and purchase your textbook, wherever you do it, whether it's a college bookstore or somewhere else, make sure that you take the information with you, especially the ISBN number, and verify that you're getting the correct textbook. If you have any issues getting the textbook for this class, let me know, and we'll see what we need to do to get it worked out. Okay. Also, obviously, since this is an online class, you're going to need access to a reliable computer and a reliable internet connection. That should seem obvious. Like I said, if you have any questions about the required materials, let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. All right, methods of instruction is the next item on the course syllabus. I'm just going to let you read through that. That's just the standard methods of instruction that you're going to see in most concepts-based classes like this. And so I'm just going to let you read through that. Let me know if you have any questions. The next item is evaluation procedures. And this I'm going to hit just the high points of because it's fairly long, and you do need to read through it. It is very important. In fact, it's probably one of the most important parts of the course syllabus, because this is where basically I have described to you or explained to you how your grade's going to be determined in this class. So obviously it's important. I know when I was in college, I always wanted to know, very first thing, first day of class, I wanted to know, okay, how's my grade going to be determined in this class? And I'm sure you are the same way, or most of you are. And so make sure you spend some time reading through this. But just to hit the high points, we're going to have 5 things that are going to make up our grade this semester. We're going to have assignments, discussions, a chapter test, or chapter tests. You'll have several. Midterm exam and a final exam. Each one of those, you'll notice, has a percentage next to it, which indicates how much of your total grade, your final course grade, that particular component is going to be, it's going to represent. So, for example, assignments will be 28% of your final course grade. All right? And other than that, I'm just going to let you read through the rest of that. Now, at the very bottom of the evaluation procedures section, there is a little section there called Artificial Intelligence AI Use Policy. And I do want you to read through that. This is something that's kind of new that we just added recently, with the advancement in AI over the last several years. We thought it was important to add this. Basically, you need to read through this and make sure that you understand it. But just kind of the synopsis here, the basic idea is I don't have any problems at all. In fact, I encourage you to use AI in an ethical way. Use it to learn more about the concepts that we're discussing in the course. To get a better grasp of the concepts. But you don't want to use AI, or it's not ethical to use AI to replace the learning process. Okay? What that means is you don't want to rely on AI so much that you're basically having AI do all your work for you, and then you're not really learning in the class. And so that's where, it becomes a academic integrity violation, is when you're using it, to basically do the work for you, and you're not putting the information into your own words. So the way to prevent that is to make sure that anything that you submit in this class, make sure that it is your own work, that it is your own words. Again, I encourage you to get help from whatever source that you want to, whether it's AI or some other source, but it still needs, with the final information that you actually submit to me for an assignment or activity in this course, needs to be in your own words. Okay? All right, so just let me know if you have questions about that. Next item on the course syllabus is the grading scale, and that's just the standard grading scale that you see in most classes. It's not really any different than what you're going to see on all your other classes, so I'm not going to spend any time on that. Just let me know if you have questions about it. Next item here is makeup policy. I do want you to spend some time looking through this. This is probably right after evaluation procedures. This is probably the second most important item on the course syllabus. And basically my policy here is that I do not allow makeup work unless there is some special circumstance. If there was something that was preventing you from being able to get the work submitted that you think I should consider, send me a course mail, be very specific on what's going on, and then I will make that determination. but it will be on an individual basis. But just keep in mind, though, just in general, I do not allow makeup work. And the basic idea there is that I give you plenty of time. If you'll notice on the activities page, I'm giving you plenty of time to get each set of activities submitted. So I don't feel like I should give you extra time unless there is some special circumstance. Okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. So let me know if you have questions about that. And then the last several parts of the course syllabus towards the bottom there are all just standard parts of the syllabus that you're going to see in all your classes. Not going to be any different than what you're going to see in all your classes. So I'm going to let you read through the rest of that. Do make sure that you read through the academic integrity section. But that just kind of goes back to what I just talked about as far as doing your own work. Making sure you submit your own work. But just read through that. Let me know if you have questions. And that's really the main thing I wanted to do today. The other thing is, if you'll look at the navigation pane on the left-hand side, the very first item there is activities. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and click on and show you very quickly here. That activities page is going to be the page that you're probably going to interact with the most during this semester, because it has all the, the exams and quizzes and assignments and discussions on it all in one place. So it's a very convenient way of being able to figure out what you need to do each week in your class, in this class, and submit it all in one place. So you'll notice the activities page is divided into weeks. So right now, obviously, we're on week 1 of the semester, and I've just got 2 items there. I've got the Getting Started link, and then Introduce Yourself. The Getting Started, let's click on that very quickly. All that is, there's nothing to turn in for this one. It's an ungraded activity because there's nothing to actually submit. The main thing there is I've just provided, for convenience purposes, some links that you need to make sure that you click on and read through for this first week of class, like the syllabus and the textbook. I've also got a link to the schedule, which is just like a Word document that shows all of the activities that are on the activities page. I know some students like to use that just to put with their textbook, print it out, put it with their textbook so that they can mark off the activities as they turn them in. But basically, there's nothing really to turn in for the Getting Started activity. You just need to read through that, especially, like I said, the course syllabus. The only thing that you're going to actually submit this first week of class is this Introduce Yourself discussion. And what I've done here, a lot of you have already replied to it, so you've already got this done. But those of you that haven't, you'll need to, before Friday, by Friday of this week, you'll need to read through my discussion post here where I've introduced myself to the class and I've told you exactly what you need to include in your reply. Basically, you just need to introduce yourself to the class. Since we don't see each other face-to-face in this online class, I want us to at least get to know each other a little bit through this online discussion. And so this is basically how I'm doing that. And so what you'll need to do in your reply is obviously include your name, maybe where you're from, what your educational and career goals are, maybe some of your hobbies and interests and so forth. And then I will reply to each of your replies. And then I'll also, as we go through this week, through this discussion, I will share some more information about myself as well. All right? So just kind of be working on that. Let's go back to activities here. Now, the first set of activities from the textbook will be due by Wednesday of next week. So you've got just a little over a week to be working on the chapters 1 and 2 activities. And so you'll need to click on each one of these links. And when you click on each one of those, it'll give you some instructions there. Make sure you carefully read through the instructions and that you're completing the correct, portions, the correct assignment problems or questions or whatever it is that it's asking you to do. Make sure that you're doing that. Make sure, again, you're using your own words when you submit those. But again, those will all be due by Wednesday of next week. As you're working on those, just let me know if you have questions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And that's really all I have for you for today. So, like I said, I'm really looking forward to teaching this class this semester. I always enjoy teaching this class over the many years I've taught it. And I'm really looking forward to this semester, and I hope you are as well. So have a great semester, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you.